Thank you. Yeah, now we're talking about witnesses, which we talked about before. Now, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Now, I quite understand what you're saying about inappropriateness of calling witnesses for calling, yeah? Unless the decision by Cabinet has been based upon evidence by those witnesses. You see what I mean? So an intrinsic part of the decision-making process by a Cabinet was based upon information received from external witnesses, or whatever. Then, I believe, it is appropriate for the committee to ask that those witnesses be made available or invited, yeah, to answer questions about the evidence they gave to Cabinet.
Yeah. So if those witnesses were at Cabinet, they should also then be available at Scrutiny Committee.
They didn't necessarily have to be at Cabinet, yeah, but the decision of the Cabinet was in large part based upon evidence given by witnesses. It could be in writing, it could be a document, it could be, it could be an advice, from external advice, for instance. Yeah, a solicitor, a barrister, it could be, and that's why the Cabinet made that decision. We may wish to test that decision by asking whomever that information was gathered from, the appropriateness of that advice.
But the downside to that is that the end user receiving information that wasn't available to the Cabinet. So because the Cabinet did not receive that information.
Well, sorry.
Well, I mean, if for example, I do a report to tell you what the highway engineer says, put it in my report, then the Cabinet will be making a decision based on what I said the highway engineer said. If Scrutiny look at it and have the highway engineers there, they're getting information and then making a different decision then, because you have got information the Cabinet didn't have.
That's true, but it may be a calling because in this instance, the highway engineer's report, let's say, was factually incorrect. Let's just say that. Now, therefore, the Cabinet's made a decision on information that was factually incorrect. Now, simply because they received it as factually incorrect, but accepted that it was correct, because OU scrutiny, in this instance, have determined that it's factually incorrect, we can't question the author of that document to test whether or not he sent the document, he or she sent the document that was factually correct. He's getting very convoluted, isn't he?
I think what I would say is the calling has to be supported by evidence. I certainly have to say, I think because the highway engineer's report was incorrect. And I think the committee can take that view based on what their views. So you can say, we agree, or we agree there's a risk with what was incorrect. And therefore, on that basis alone, you can go back to Cabinet and say, we think you should review your highway engineer's report, and indeed, if necessary, call in your highway engineer to give you a personal verbatim report to make sure about that. So you can do that without you having to call in the highway engineer at all. So otherwise, you're trying to remake the original decision based on new information, which is fundamentally wrong. So I think that's why calling is quite a blunt instrument in that respect. It isn't about the policy review where you can have evidence over weeks and consider stuff. This is a very short time scale where you say, hang on, something smells a bit fishy about this, and my concerns are about the highway engineer. I'm not sure it wasn't misinterpreted, because I thought it meant something different. And I think it's right then for you to say, bearing that in mind, do all scrutiny members agree with that? Yeah, that does sound a bit weird. In which case, then that's grounds enough to say to Cabinet, look, reconsider that view, because we think there's something weird about the information we got from that highway engineer, and you should look at it again. And that's it. You don't need to speak to the highway engineer to find that out. If you have a view and a concern which is shared by the committee, and they agree with that, that's enough.
Sorry, Councillor Joe Jones.
Thank you, Chair.
I'm down at the bottom page I, and it's the questioning the wording in the last sentence that runs on to page 9. However, the council does object. It has no locus to make decisions in respect of cabinet. Now, is this government talk?
It's Latin legal talk. It should have. We'll change locus to power, I think, or authority. Authority, whatever to play. I'll go for that.
Was there greater substance to the point you were making other than just a reinterpretation of Latin?
I did study Latin, so I didn't have to look it up. But we had a similar problem at the last committee meeting where officers tend to use in-house words that the general public and most of the council have never heard of.
But it's not the substance of what the clause seeks to cover.
No.
Councillor Campbell.
Yeah. Now, I have. There's currently a live issue with decisions taken by scrutiny that are referred back to cabinet for them to reconsider. Yeah. Now it seems that it's not secret, it's not on pink or anything. At the last opening scrutiny meeting, we reviewed, scrutinised documents called fees and charges. It's been put forward by the cabinet. Yeah. Contained within it was an issue about removal of free parking at Leopold Street in Ramsgate. The committee, the chair said it was unanimous, but I'm told it was overwhelming majority, however, of members of the opening scrutiny rejected that decision and asked for it to be reconsidered by cabinet. Yeah. Only to I discover that it's going to full council tomorrow. Yeah. Now, so it's not going to be reconsidered by cabinet. It seems that opening scrutiny. Now, my view should be that should stop the process, because opening scrutiny have determined that cabinet should revisit it. Then it can't then go to council for council to either accept or reject the paper that this particular objection was contained in it, and it contains it.
Do you wish to comment on that? But on the process rather than the actual substance of Ramsgate